What's up, guys? Justin Morgan here, and I wanted to talk just for a minute today about this stereotype that vegans are so weak, so frail, and so small. And I think it really comes from the delusion that obese people have all kinds of muscle underneath all that fat that they wear around all the time. Because a lot of times what happens is that people, when they start to follow a more plant-based diet, maybe they're not going vegan, maybe they're just following a mostly plant-based diet and they're losing a lot of weight. You hear sometimes people say that I lost all my muscle because maybe they think they weren't eating enough protein. Listen, if you're not training on a daily basis, or at least 3, maybe 4 times a week, you don't have any muscle. I mean, you have some muscle enough to, you have enough muscle to carry your body around, but once you strip all that fat off the outside, you're not going to be this like muscular person underneath that unless you've got some years of training underneath your belt. So frequently what I think happens is that people will see vegans that don't lift and they'll think, oh, they're so frail, they're so weak, they're so small, when they fail to acknowledge that underneath all that fat they wear around all the time, that they're frail, weak, and small underneath there too. They just, they're just delusional about it. And I say that stemming from conversations with people where they go from, 400 pounds down to, say 200 or so. They have a significant weight loss, and they talk about having lost a lot of muscle. And I'm like, but you never lifted. You never did anything. What makes you think you ever had muscle underneath there? Are you weaker now than you were before? You have no gauge from that. You didn't squat. You didn't do any kind of load-bearing exercise that would indicate you ever had any muscle or strength. So it doesn't really make any sense. So I don't mean to be rude in the way that I say that, or harsh. It's just a reality. And I think that by being at least aware of that, or at least trying to acknowledge some of those factors, that it kind of empowers people. So the answer is not to think that just because vegans are lean or that they're more trim, that they're frail, small, and weak. It's to think that people that don't lift weights, that don't do some type of load-bearing exercise at least 3 times a week, are probably frail, weak, and small. And if they are carrying around a significant amount of fat, that may cover up some of that. But the reality is that underneath all that fat, that they're also frail, small, and weak. So the answer is to lift weights, to actually do some type of load-bearing exercise. It doesn't have to be complicated. Go in, do either a squat or a deadlift, do either a bench press, an overhead press, or a dumbbell press. Do 3 to 5 sets of 5 to 10 reps of each of those. Then do some type of pull-ups or rows, or something like that. If you get into more serious lifting where you want to compete in a sport, then you'll have to become a little bit more serious and dedicated in your training than to do those things. But those are really simple things that you could do. And even my children do some type of load-bearing exercise at least once, or a few times a week. So my son, he's 13, so he's doing a little bit more now. He's starting to work out 3 times a week. The girls, they do they do exercises, but maybe not quite as much weightlifting yet until they get older. So that's it. You guys take it easy, and I will talk to you in that next video. If you have any ideas on videos that you would like to see, post them in the description box below. And if not, I will try to do one at least once every week, or once every few weeks, whenever something comes to mind. No promises though. Later.